All right. So what you're going to do here is everyone, if you're on Canvas, go to Canvas, and I want you to click on this little link to download this CAD file of the USITT draft guidelines, okay, or from the 2008 ones, and then open that. And it should present you with this unsupported objects thing. It doesn't really matter what you put on here, but you can just say, I'll just say show objects when available. So this is the CAD file for that document that we worked on all those years ago. Has everyone got that open? If you go into Canvas and go to the assignment for this week, so if you go to modules and then where it says AutoCAD system, AutoCAD drawing aids, click on the system diagram outline assignment, and then scroll down to below that diagram and you have this little link for USITT guidelines. So if you download that file, you'll be able to open it in CAD. So I'll wait for everyone to get there. You got it? You need some help? So, then scroll down. Are you in Safari right now? Yeah, Safari to show those images. So, yes, click on that. There you go. Now it should have So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on those drawing aids that we turned off before. So you're going to turn on polar tracking, which is this little one that looks like a circle. I always say it's like Pac-Man, you know, or something. So click on that one. Go ahead and turn on dynamic input, which is the little plus sign with the box below it. And then you're going to want to turn on object snap tracking and object snap. And then under object snap here, if you right click on that, you get this list. And these are all the things that you can object snap to. And I'll explain object snap in a minute. But I would make sure you have endpoint, midpoint, and center turned on for sure. And then later, if you find you want others, you can turn it, but definitely use those. And make sure that that tracks over to the object snap tracking that's next to it. Make sure the same ones are selected. Okay. So what we're going to talk about today is the assignment you're going to do today is quite a bit different from the one you did last week. This time, you're not going to draw a single line, okay, yourself. All you're going to do is you're going to take things from this document that have already been drawn, and you are going to create this diagram. Okay, so let me open this up a little bit bigger. You can see it. There it is. So you are going to create this diagram, but you're not going to draw a single line. Okay, you're going to do this by just moving and copying and trimming lines from the standards document. Okay, and the reason that this is important is hopefully you're gonna do a lot of drawings over the next 40, 50 years of your life, okay? And generally speaking, probably aren't gonna be getting paid by the hour. You're gonna be paid by the job, or you're gonna be salaried or something. And so, you know, it's in your best interest to find every way you can to save time, especially when you're making a ton of drawings. If you are drawing those loudspeaker symbols every single time that you need a loudspeaker symbol, like, you are wasting time. You should draw it once and then never draw it again. And you can just use it over and over and over again. That's how most people do it. So by the end of this class, you're gonna have an AutoCAD template that has symbols that you've drawn, and you drew them, right? And they're yours and everything. And then you're never gonna draw them again. You're just gonna use them forever until you work somewhere else and they want you to have different symbols, and you'll draw those, and then you'll use those forever, you know? But understanding that workflow of how do you take things that have already been drawn and use them as blocks to build out a drawing. That's kind of what this is about. And using these drawing aids is how that works. So let me show you how this works. So let's just start and do a little bit of this, okay? So if I'm gonna start by making this, this first little piece of equipment here, which is, I think, like a stage box or something. Yeah. It's the main mixer or something. Anyway, it's this, okay? So I'm gonna go get one of those. So I'm gonna zoom in over here, and here's that standard device block, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my mouse, and I'm gonna drag over it, okay? Now remember the rules about selecting. If you start from the left and drag to the right, it will select everything that is completely captured inside of that rectangle you drew. If you start from the right and drag left, it's going to grab everything that is only partially enclosed in the rectangle you drew. So if I go from right to left and I select here, notice that it selected some of the stuff, but it didn't select these input labels, because those, no part of those were inscribed in that rectangle. So and that's, we talked about that first day, but I'm just gonna start from the left and drag to the right to make sure that everything in that symbol is completely contained inside that rectangle, okay? And then I'm gonna click, and now the whole thing's gonna be there, all right? Now, the first new command is copy. So you're gonna do CO, enter, or copy, enter, but CO, enter. And it says, okay, you've already selected it. So it just says specify the base point. And the base point is, you're ultimately gonna draw, the way you're gonna copy this is you're gonna say, it starts here, but I want it to end up here. Okay, so you're just gonna draw 2 points from here to there. So where is the base point? The base point is the point that you wanna start moving it from. And I'm gonna hover over the top left corner of this box. And you see how a little green box pops up and my cursor jumps over to there? That's object snap. Okay, so it helps to make sure that you've snapped to exactly that corner. You don't have to type in the coordinates, you just snap to it. Okay, so once your cursor snapped to it, then you click, and now it says specify the second point. And so I'm just gonna zoom out here, and then I'm gonna come down here, and I'm just gonna click somewhere down here. And then it says specify second point again. So you can keep making these if you want. I only want one for now. So once I'm done, I'm just gonna hit enter to get out of the command. And there is the thing, okay? So far, so good? Everybody get that far? All right. So there's my first symbol. So now let's take a look here. So I've got a whole bunch of these wireless mics that need to go into here. Okay. So let me go get one of those. So I'm going to go back to the drawing and I'm going to find that symbol. Oh, here it is right here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to drag left to right and completely select that whole thing. Everybody got it selected? All right, so now you're going to type CO for copy. And this time for the base point, I want to click the end of this line here on the right, because I want to take that and then I want to attach it to the line on the block that I copied. So I'm going to start there from that right side and go click, and then I'm going to scroll and zoom and come down here, and I'm going to put it, snap it right there to the end of that line. And my object snap will snap to that, and then I click and it's done. And then I can hit enter. Okay? Does that work? Okay. And then I need a bunch of these, right? So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22. All right, you ready? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select this whole thing. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to select, actually, sorry, escape. First thing I want to do is I'm going to delete this second label here on the inputs. So I'm going to select that and hit E, enter for erase. All right, now I'm going to select this whole thing, and I want to get the line, both lines, and I want to get the label. So you want to get that whole thing, including the little number 1 label.
Did you just start clicking those extra things now?
Yeah, so I started by just went left to right here until I got this far, and then I just zoomed in and said, okay, I want that, and I want that. So I'm not clicking on them, I'm just like marqueing, doing rectangles around them left to right depending on how I want to select them, okay? All right, so now I want to copy again. So I'm going to say CO and specify the base point. In this case, the base point is going to be this line that connects with the equipment block. So I'm going to click there, and I'm going to go straight down. Now the polar tracking is going to keep you locked into that vertical line, so that it doesn't go skiwampus. And you're going to drop it down until the spacing looks about right. So that looks about right to me. So I'm going to click there. All right? And now I'll hit enter. So now I've got 2, and they are spaced appropriately. They look good. Okay? So I've got 2 of them. I need how many? 22. Okay, so I got to make 20 more. So here's what I'm going to do. Now I want to array these in a whole big list, but I want the spacing between them to be consistent, right? Because I care about that kind of stuff. So you've got a consistency here that works, or a spacing here that works. So what you're going to do is you're going to select this second one now that you made in its entirety, and you're going to do copy again. So CO, enter. What is the base point? Same base point as before. So you're going to zoom in and click on the end point of that line from the first set. And then the second point, where do you think it's going to be? The end of the line for the second one. And you just keep going and clicking down on those endpoints of the new ones that you make. And they are all now spaced exactly the same. Keep going, keep going. Get another one, another one, another one. I lost count. How many do I have?
How do you keep them spaced exactly the same? Oh, you going by the other side.
Yeah, see how I'm clicking from endpoint to endpoint on that line, and that ensures that they stay spaced exactly the same way. How many do I have now? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, I need 4 more. So I'm gonna just select this bottom one and do copy. And this time I'm gonna go base point to base point from the bottom 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 22, right? Okay. So now I need this equipment block to grow, right? To capture all these. So here's how you do that. This is a rectangle right now, and I need it to not be a rectangle. So I am going to blow it up. And the command is explode. So you literally type explode. E-X-P-L-O-D-E. It says select objects. I'm going to select that rectangle, just click on it, and then hit enter. And what happens is it blows it up into 4 separate lines. So now what I'm going to do, everybody there? You got that far?
Sorry, so you click on the box and then type explode?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can, I think, type explode in there.
Yeah, either way. Either way works. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the move command, which is just M enter or move enter. But M is quicker. M enter. It says select objects. Well, I want to move this bottom line. So I'm going to select that. Enter. It says specify base point. Okay, I'm going to click on the bottom corner of where the line currently is, here on the left. Click there, and then it says specify second point. So I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom here. And now watch very carefully. Watch what I'm going to do. I want this line to line up with the bottom of that last receiver. And this is where the object snap tracking comes in. Everybody watching? Watch carefully or you'll miss it. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to hover over that end so it snaps onto it. And then I'm going to start dragging over and see how it's tracking off of that. And then the polar tracking locks into the vertical and I click. And now that line is perfectly lined up with the bottom of that receiver. That's object snap tracking. Okay? Now I just have to make those sidelines longer. So here's what I'm going to do. This is the extend command that I showed you earlier. So extend. There's no shortcut for that. You just have to type the word extend. Enter. Now, they changed this is a command that they've changed the order of operations for somewhere along the way. And not for the better, in my opinion. So there's an option here for boundary edges, crossing mode, or project. I would try to get in the habit of specifying boundary edges first. So that's a B enter. And what you're doing is you're selecting the place that you want to extend the lines to. Okay? And that is this line I moved. So I'm going to click on that. Enter. Okay, and now it says select the objects to extend. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on that line, and I'm going to click on that line, and look what it did. It bumped them all down to that bottom line. And then I can hit enter to get out of the command, or escape.
Can you run through that again?
Yep. So I'm back where I was. I'm going to type extend. And the options here are boundary edges, crossing, mode, or project. I'm going to do B for boundary edges. It's to select the object that's the boundary edge, and it's that line I moved, that bottom line. So you just click on that, hit enter, and it says now extend. Select the objects to extend. So I go back to the top here, and I click on the left side one, and I click on the right side one, and then hit enter to get out of the command, and now it is extended. And I've effectively grown that whole thing. Yeah? That make sense? Now, you'll see here that in my example drawing, these receivers are much farther over to the left. And there's a reason for that, because if you go down to the bottom here, look at all this other stuff I have. I drew the orchestra stage box down below that, and I needed space for that. So we're going to work on that and see if we can't figure that out. So let's see here. What is, because I still need to teach you what commands. I still need to show you trim and mirror. Okay. I think I can do that. Okay. So let's go and let's start by drawing this piece of equipment here, okay? This stage box here. So let's go get that. So I'm going to go back and borrow that symbol again. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it down here. It doesn't really matter yet where you put it, but I'm going to start by just lining it up with the bottom of the transmitter for a second here. Until I get it doesn't really matter yet, but just put it somewhere under there. We'll line it up later. So I've got that, and now I need those microphones. Okay, so let's go get that. Okay, here's the microphone. So I don't want to select the little loopy loop here. I don't want that. I just want this part. So I just want that part of it. So I'll hit that, and I'll do copy. Base point will be the end of that line on the right. And then I'm going to bring it down here, and I'm going to snap it to that input one. Okay. And then we do the same kind of thing. So I'm going to delete this input 2 by erasing it. And now I'm going to select this other stuff. We'll copy and move this down until I get a good spacing for all those labels. About there. And how many of these do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So I'll select the bottom one, copy, and go from there to there. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. Now I also need this little symbol for the transmitter. And then I've got an output that I need to put there. So let's go get that. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select this transmitter and try to get only that. I'll copy that based on this top left corner. I'm going to bring it down here and I'm going to line it up with the edge of the microphone. So I'm going to object snap track off the edge of that microphone until I get it there. Okay. And then it looks like I need an output 1 to come off of that. So I wonder where I could find that. Let's go see where I could get that from. I'm going to get it from this device block here. So I'm just going to select the output 1 with the line from here. Okay. Now, I want to get this positioned in the same relative spot inside that box. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to start by saying copy. Now watch carefully. My base point is going to be that corner. Okay. I'm going to click there, and then I'm going to come down to that box, and I'm going to click that same corner here. And then it lines it up in exactly the same place. That make sense?
Yeah, I've just been all over.
Well, stop me. I'll let you catch up.
Can you zoom out so
Mhm.
see this one?
So you can see how quickly this goes when you already have the symbols drawn and then you just draw them this way. You can get something laid out real quick. I'm going to save. You getting there? Okay. Let's see. I need 2 of those. I'll go ahead and copy this bottom one here. So I'll copy from there to about there. So now I got all that. Now let's extend this box, just like we did before. So I'm going to explode this. And then I'll move that bottom line. Again, try to object snap track off of the bottom of the last thing. And then extend to boundary edges of that, enter, and then I'll click on these lines. Boom, boom, enter. Look at that. We are getting there. Let's look at the other side of this. Okay, I need a loudspeaker there. A powered loudspeaker, no less. The one that has the triangle in it. Can I find that? There it is. But I don't want that power icon thing. So I'm going to select my way around that so I only have that. So I'll copy that, using the end of the line here as the base point. And I'll bring it down here and click it onto that output 1 line. Okay, and now I need that label. Because that label wasn't on the original, was it? It was not. So let's go get it. Okay, there's the label, see? Loudspeaker location or purpose, make model. I can select that. Now, how do you suppose I would copy this down there and get it lined up with that other symbol in the same way? Yes.
Where did the speaker go? Where did the keys go?
Just right off of output 2 of this bottom box here. Or output 1, sorry. Just right there. So, yes, Connor, you're correct. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to select this label. And I'm going to copy. Now watch what I do. I'm going to snap to the midpoint of that box as my starting point. Then I'm going to go down and I'm going to snap to the midpoint of the box I copied. And click, and there it is. It's lined up perfectly.
How'd you find the midpoint?
Using the object snap, so if you have midpoint turned on, I'll show you. You can, if you have this selected, you say copy. It's base point, you just hover over the middle thing, and you see that triangle, that's the midpoint. It locks your cursor to that. And then you click, and then you can move, and you can do the same thing on the other end.
I think I thought you were clicking the midpoint with text.
No. Let's see. You can go ahead and delete that output 2. I don't need that. Looks like I need another little piece of equipment down here. You see that? Yeah. Let's go get that. Just standard device block, copy. We'll do that top corner. And I'm going to object snap track it off the back of the loudspeaker just so it lines up really well. Okay. Now, I need these purple lines on the inputs to extend all the way over to that stage box, right? So I'm going to use extend. So do B for my boundary edge, and that's going to be this line there. Enter, and then I click, click, and they line up.
Are you recording this class today?
I am attempting to, yes. Okay. Looks like I don't need the outputs on that thing, do I? You need help, Jess?
Just wanted to just ask how much space in between.
It's kind kind of a gut thing. In other words, my gut. So try to think, what spacing would Jason like? All right, I'm going to erase that output. How we doing? What else do I need? Oh, I need this little panel, don't I? So where it says AVP, put that panel. Where could I get that? Let's go see if we can find that somewhere. There it is. Let's take that. I'm going to copy that. Track that off of that corner. And I got to clean this up a little bit, don't I? What do I have to do to it? All right, well, I only need the first 3 lines, don't I? So I can get rid of that, and I can get rid of everything else. So if I just select those things and hit erase, E, enter, I can get rid of those. And I don't need the intercom label or any of that. Yeah, the little number signs move down to the bottom, don't they? How could we do that? Well, let's select them and hit M, enter. And let's just move them. This is kind of an eyeball thing as well. Move them a little bit underneath there and click. You can, while you're in the middle of the command, you can go over and turn it off.
Okay, but there's not like.
If there is, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I've never learned that.
Okay.
But yeah, sometimes the snapping gets in your way.
Yeah, it was just in my way, and
Yeah.
I know Vectorworks is hold this. I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but you can all. I always, if I ever need to do that, I just always go down and click it off for that command, and then it usually comes back on after that command. Okay, so there we are. Now I need the line to go all the way into the mixer, don't I? So that's another really great use for my extend tool. So we're going to extend, and I do B, enter for boundary edge, and I select the edge of that box. Enter. And then I click on each of those purple lines, and they extend all the way through to the box. Just like that. Now I need that little break line at the bottom of that, don't I? But I can't draw it. I gotta go get it from somewhere. So let's go get it. There's one. I'm gonna get it from there. So I'm gonna select those lines. I'm gonna copy. Now this is very important. The base point is gonna be the midpoint of that vertical line. Okay? So I'm gonna click there, and then I'm gonna go down here to this new one, and I'm gonna click on the midpoint of the bottom line. Right there, like that. You see how I locked to midpoint or snapped to midpoint there? And then click, and there it is. Now, I'm not done though, am I? Because I need to get rid of the line in the middle. Now this is where the trim tool comes in. Okay? You need help?
How did you extend the line for the?
So you type extend, enter, and then do B, enter for boundary edge, and then click on that right line of that big box for the boundary edge. Then hit enter, and then you just click on the 3 red lines, and they'll jump over there. line bigger
Yeah.
first. You gotta make the lines bigger.
I was still trying to figure
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
that, so.
Okay.
um,
So explode that first.
I did.
Okay, so then move, do enter. Select that bottom one. Now enter. Now click on that bottom corner. There you go. And now object snap track it off the bottom of that. So hover over there and now track over. There you go, now click. And then you can extend those lines down.
Gotcha.
So extend. And B for boundary edge. Click on the line. Enter it. And then click on those two lines. There you go. Now you'll be able to extend those over. So B for boundary edge. No. Yeah, just B now, click on that. Now enter. And then click on those lines.
Gotcha.
Right? There you go. Okay. So let me show you the trim tool. So here it is. Here's my little break line. I'm going to type trim. Trim, enter. Now, it says select object to trim, or there are some options here. You have cutting edges, crossing, mode, project, and erase. I wanted to do cutting edges, which you see how it has the capital T in that, where it says cutting edge and it has capital T. That means T is the shortcut for that. So I hit T, enter, and the cutting edges are going to be the diagonal lines. So I click on the first diagonal line and I click on the other diagonal line, hit enter, and it says, okay, now select the object to trim. And I'm going to select that bottom line. And it goes away between the cutting edges. I'm going to do that again. You ready? Trim, enter, T, enter for cutting edge. And then I click on the two diagonal lines, enter, and then I click that middle line. It goes away. Slick, right? Okay. What else we got here? I still gotta do mirror. I think I can do mirror. I gotta find something I can mirror.
On the right side of the patch tree, that curve line here.
Probably, huh?
It only comes from the left, or it's always on the left side.
Yeah, it does. You're right. Okay, let's do that. All right, let's get us a patch bay. I'm just going to take this whole thing and I'll get rid of what I don't need. Copy. Take this down here. And I'll object snap track it off of the top of the AVP. Okay. And it looks like I need 3 patch lines, so I can get rid of, well, I can get rid of these normal labels. Don't need those. But I ultimately need the lines in the panel to line up with the lines in the patch bay, don't I? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move those lines first. So I'll select those 3. select those lines, and I'll say move. And I'm going to click on the end, the right edge of that top line. And I'm going to object snap track off of the first line of the patch bay. Did you see that? I'll do it again. So I'm going to move, select those, start with this top right line, and then I go and I hover over the top left line of the patch bay and then track back to the vertical off of that. And then click. And now I know those are lined up. And then I can extend to boundary edge for those lines. Boom, boom, boom. And there they are. Oh, let's see. I need a patch cable for that top one. I can copy that up there. I don't need this side. Get rid of that. And I don't need this bottom patch line. Don't need that either. So I can get rid of that. In fact, I can get rid of all of these inside now, can't I? There you go. Get rid of that. I do want this little fan out though, because I need that for this other side. See where it fans out there? I need that. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to get rid of the total label. I don't need that. But I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And I'm going to move it over here for a sec. And yes, this is where you can learn how to mirror. So does everybody have this sitting here? Catch up if you need to. Have this little symbol sitting there. Let's see. No, because I got class right back at 2. But I'm pretty free tomorrow, I think. All right. Everybody got this? You got this symbol sitting there? Okay. So here's what I need to flip this around, right? I need it backwards from what it is right now. So I'm going to do mirror, M-I for mirror. Or you can type the word mirror, but that takes long. So M-I, enter. It says select the objects. All right, I want all those. Enter. Specify the first point of the mirror line. In this case, it doesn't really matter, but I'll go ahead and just use the end of the top line as the first point, and then it says specify the second point, and I select the second point of there. And see how it's already flipped it around? And it says, okay, do you want to erase the source object? Yes or no? In other words, do you want to keep the original, or do you not need that anymore? I'll say, yes, please erase that. I don't need it anymore. So Y, enter. Now it's flipped around. See that? So now what do I need to do? I just need to move it. So I'll select that. I'll move. Go from here to there. And now I just need one more curvy, right? So I can just steal that curvy and copy it from there to there. All right, have I shown you all the commands yet? Copy, move, trim, extend, mirror, object snap tracking. Yes. Okay, I have now shown you everything you need to do this entire project. So, the rules of engagement here. You need to create this drawing without drawing a single line yourself. Okay? every line that shows up in here has to be copied from somewhere in this CAD file. So, for example, if you need these diagonal lines, like those little diagonal lines, you got to go get those from somewhere. Where can you find a couple of diagonal lines? I don't know. Let's see. There's a little diagonal line right there. All right, so you can copy that and put that down there, right? So you can't draw the line, but you can transform it a little bit by trimming or extending it or mirroring it if you need to. So if you need it to be backwards, you can mirror it, flip it around. You can extend it to make it longer. You can trim it to make it shorter. You can, and beyond that, you just go and you find the things, you copy them. So that's the rules of engagement. Don't draw any lines. So no, you cannot draw any objects all by yourself. They've got to be copied and arranged using the source file. Don't worry about the text. Just leave the text the same. It's not important for this particular assignment. We'll learn about text later. And that's it. Try to make it look as close as possible to what this looks like. And what you'll find, let me show you one more thing actually. You see how now I've built this whole thing out and now it's overlapping with that little piece of equipment there? So what am I going to do? Yeah, I'm going to just select everything and move it. And I need to move everything. So I want to move even the wireless mics, right? So I'm going to go and I'm going to select all those too. So it's really easy. You just do all that. I'm going to hit move. And what do I need to do here? Oh, okay, I just need to get specify base point. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to move this over so it lines up with the end of that thing, if that's possible. I'm going to have to get really tight in there, aren't I? Right there. Oh, it didn't. I did it wrong. I did copy. Undo. Let's try that again. Go. And move here. Oh, this will be so much easier. There to track down. There. And oh, look, it took the sideline with it of that. So I can go just move that back. So I'll take this and move that back over there. And then I just extend. So now this is very cool. Watch this. I'm going to type extend, do B for boundary edge, and I'll click that line. Now, instead of just clicking on these individual lines, I'm just going to do a little, actually I need to do it this way. So extend B, enter. Oops, why is it doing that? Extend B, enter. Okay, select objects. Why is it doing that? It used to let me select. Is this something they've changed? Ooh, why do they change things?
You can select, but it just draws a straight line, it doesn't do it like
Weird.
so you yeah.
It used to let you do that.
Or it might let you draw like a dynamic fence, but
Yeah.
it doesn't do a square
That. Oh, there it goes. Now I got it. Okay, so I can get it to do that, and I just select all those lines, and they all should extend if I do it right. Why am I struggling here? B for boundary edge. Object to extend. Oh yeah, it does, I see it does just do a straight line. So I just draw a straight line down there, and as long as it crosses all those, it extends them all over there. There we go. Although I notice here that when I moved, everything wasn't quite lined up here, was it? So I'm gonna have to cheat ever so slightly here. And I'm just gonna delete those extra little tiny lines. There you go. Problem solved. Yeah, there we go. And it looks like I actually have this stage box lined up with the receiver here. So let me fix that. Put that there. And then I can move this stuff so it lines up out here. Same deal, extend. So you can see there's a little bit of finagling you end up having to do on all this. That's fine. Oh, I didn't move my labels there, did I? And I'll extend this. There and there. I'll get rid of the extras that I don't need. Now we're getting somewhere. Now I'm just gonna take this whole thing here. Instead, I'm gonna move this over now and line it up with there. And then I can extend again. There. Did it. See how this works? Move, copy, trim, extend, and every once in a while mirror. That's it. This is how I create every system diagram. I've drawn these symbols once. I've never drawn them again, except for class. And I just lay this out, and then I go in and I change the labels. Okay? So that is your assignment. It's really not. It's not going to take you as long as you might think. It'll go pretty quick once you get into a rhythm. Just resist the temptation to use other methods. You really can do this whole thing with copy, move, extend, trim, mirror. All right, we got 45 minutes or so you can keep working, and I'm happy to help you with whatever you're stuck on. Just holler out.